Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Monday, is the 11th of October, 2021. I hope you're COVID free today. I hope you're healthy. I hope your family is also COVID free and healthy, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field trying to save lives. Blessings upon those that pick up garbage for us to keep our places and our streets clean. Blessings upon those also that make deliveries for our convenience, both in 18-wheelers, in cars, on bicycles, motorcycles, and on foot. Blessings also, double blessings on those trying to help, trying to deliver, trying to rescue, trying to recover. Boys and girls, men and women, teenagers, sometimes toddlers, from human trafficking, sex slavery, sex operations, child pornography, child molestation, pedophilia, human prostitution in terms of adults as well as children, and pornography in terms of adults. Oftentimes, the people that you see in adult films that we're finding out now from their own testimonies were people that were molested and trafficked, and then later on used in adult films where they were first used in child film. Blessings upon those trying to help these unfortunate ones, and curses upon those that exploit them. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. 600,000 men, women, and children without a roof over their head in the United States. Millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. So, we talked about the basketball game that was played Saturday night, when the New York Knicks played against the Washington Wizards in the second preseason game. Now, it was just a preseason game, obviously, but the Wizards did have pretty much their full contingent of players. And what you're going to see in the regular season, they had there. The only person really, the most important player they were missing was Thomas Bryant that day because of injury. But pretty much you had Daniel Gafford there, and Gafford is a very capable center out of the University of Arkansas who's turning into a bit of a revelation for them. So they had their full contingent. Montrezl Harrell was there. Caldwell Pope was there. Kyle Kuzma was there. Bradley Beal, of course, Spencer Dinwiddie. Everybody was there. So, but for two players in particular on the Knicks, and that's the subject today, Kevin Knox and Obi Toppin. For those two, this was a very big game, even though it was preseason. For Obi, it would be his first start at the power forward position for the New York Knicks. Julius Randle was out as his wife is having their second child. We hope that the baby and mother will be fine. But he was out as his wife was having their second child. And so that left the opening for Obi to start. Now, because Obi was starting, that left an opening for Kevin to get backup minutes at the 4. Now, and of course, Tom Thibodeau did verify that the day before the game by saying that both Obi and Kevin were going to get extended minutes, and they did. So this is a very big game for both of those guys. And I have to say it was bigger for Kevin. Obi was big, but it seems like the Knicks are committed to developing Obi, even as a backup 4 for this point for Julius Randle, having drafted him 8th overall, this current regime having drafted him. Okay. Whereas Kevin is not as the same situation, being that this is his 4th year, his contract year of his rookie deal. Couple of things are keeping Kevin, though, in the loop in terms of staying on the Knicks. Number one, he was drafted by the current GM, Scott Perry. Even though in this past draft, I think we can agree it was a group effort between Perry, Leon Rose, Walt Perrin, and as well as important Tom Thibodeau in terms of who they were going to draft this year, who these guys wanted. It was already reported that Tibbs was really pushing for them to get Deuce McBride as well as Quentin Grimes. He wanted these two guys, and he got them. And we got a revelation steal at 58 with Jericho, and then the unknown kid, Jekyll Bidas, who came into the Summer League unknown by most. I know I didn't know much about him, but he played very well. He showed poise at age 20. Lots of poise, lots of promise, 6'4", lots of craftiness at the point guard position. And even now he's in Europe and he's doing his thing over there and playing very well at age 20, going on 21. So we now have a nice future guard rotation with Grimes and my man Deuce and Joko Bidas. This is the guard rotation of the future for the New York Knicks, and it looks pretty good, but that's another point. So with that in mind, Scott Perry having had a hand, along with David Fizdale, in picking Kevin Knox, Worldwide Wes and Tibbs and Leon Rose having a close relationship with John Calipari, Calipari really understood that Kevin wasn't ready to come out of Kentucky that freshman year. But so he said to Fizdale and to the Knicks and to Perry, you're going to have to give him 2 or 3 seasons, right? Remember that? So now with that in mind, then you go ahead and you hire Kenny Payne from the Kentucky staff. Kevin is going to get all the opportunity in the world. Okay. And he deserves it because the first year, as we know, he was playing a lot. In fact, he was starting. And then, of course, Fizdale, not knowing what he was doing, pulled him, right? Didn't take him to the G League. Didn't give him any reps. Just pulled him, sat him, and that hurt him in his second year. Then he didn't know what to really expect. He worked really hard that third season, that third summer, and Tibbs comes in and treats him like a rookie. And, and he wasn't having a lot of minutes. Tibbs has now observed him over the course of the last year plus. He has said so. He's watched him work. He knows. And this is what Tibbs said about that. That's very important to me. He said, you don't want to have good practices. You want to have great practices. He said, if you're not in the rotation, your job is to have great practices and to work hard so that when you're called upon, you're ready. So that in mind, Kevin now knows that for the first time in more than a year and a half, he was going to get significant minutes. This is the first time in more than a year and a half, he was going to get significant minutes in a New York Knicks game. He could have easily folded, especially with, there was a lot of haters in Knick Nation. Trade him for a pick, give him, get rid of him. No, he's got no heart and he's a deer in headlights and all this BS. What does homie do? He gets 20 minutes. He responds in the 20 minutes that he got off the bench. He responds, Kevin Knox, 4 of 8 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3-point land. And just as importantly, he gets 6 rebounds. Also, hitting the boards as well. To me, he responded excellently. Now, all of his points came in the first half, but if you see the second half of the game, because look, Toppin got 28 minutes, Fournier got 25 minutes, Barrett gets 31 minutes, okay, and then the two-headed monster of Rose and Kemba got 21 minutes apiece. So he was getting pretty much what he was going to get, and he wasn't forcing the issue. Neither was Obi. They were really, deferring and picking their spots. So Kevin just didn't get a whole lot of open looks in the second half, but he made very good use of his time. To me, he has convinced me that we should just forget trading him. Okay, forget that. And the reason I say that is this, and this is the important point of today. Listen carefully. You have Julius Randle and you have Obi Toppin in front of him. You also remember now, you got most of these guys. Now look, Taj Gibson, especially we're talking about Taj Gibson, but we're talking about Taj Gibson, Alec Burks, Derrick Rose, Taj Gibson, Alec Burks, Derrick Rose, and Nerlens Noel, but especially Gibson and Burks. These guys are on 3-year deals, which are only guaranteed for the first 2 years. The third years are team options. Brilliant move by Leon. Brilliant move. Okay? Brilliant. The whole reason really that Bullock left was because he was getting all 3 years guaranteed in Dallas. And the Knicks said, okay, no, we're not doing that. And they let him walk. Brilliant move. Brilliant move. And they turn around and get Evan Fournier. Fournier's got a 4-year deal for $78 million, but 3 of those years are guaranteed. So you're going to keep Fournier for 3 years regardless. Okay? That's why you're going to play him. All y'all talking about putting Fournier in the bench is not going to happen. He's getting paid a lot of money to start at the 2 guard. So he's going to do that. But with terms of Kevin, between Kevin and we could throw Jericho Sims in this mix as well. And of course, we're talking about Deuce McBride as well as Grimes, but Grimes got to wait a little bit because he got Fournier for 3 years in front of him. And it's entirely possible by that third season that he takes over for Fournier. But let's let that happen. But most of these guys on these 2-year guaranteed deals, It gives room for players like Kevin, like Jericho, like Deuce, to work hard behind the scenes, to have great practices, to be prepared so when they come in, they show out like Kevin did, like Jericho did last Saturday night. Okay, so now you have that situation set up so that if they're ready in 2 seasons, they can take over. Now let's remember, because Kevin played his first rookie season, he got minutes, he had a 30-point game, he had a couple of 20-point games in that rookie season, then his head got messed with, then he got pushed back with the new coach and staff. So really, it's almost like this is his second year, even though he's been here, this is his 4th season. And now you're dealing with, we were talking about last night on with my man Jay Ellis, you got the David Fizdale version of Kevin Knox, but now you're reemerging with the Tom Thibodeau version of Kevin Knox. That's what you're getting now. And Kevin is still 22 years old. He's only 22. Okay, again, I like to point out, Obi Toppin's older than Kevin Knox. Okay, and Kevin is probably the same age or younger than Jericho Sims. I think he's probably younger than Jericho Sims. So we're dealing with really a young guy right now. So you give him the 2 more years and you let the 2 years go by with Burks and with Taj. As much as Tibbs loves Taj, and Taj is 36 years old, I could see him playing the Adonis Haslam role on the Knicks as long as Thibodeau is here for a long time. Herb Williams, y'all remember Herb Williams? He stuck around on the Knicks for, I don't know how long. He started as a player and he stayed with the Knicks a long time when he wasn't playing as a coach. So I think Taj could have that type of position. But as a player playing ahead of Kevin Knox, I'm telling you, in 2 seasons, that's not going to happen. So there's minutes for Kevin there. Now, let's look at the minutes for a second. Obi played 28 minutes in place of Julius Randle. Kevin played 20 minutes coming in behind Obi. Okay? I don't expect, at least, let me not be a predictor here because Tom Thibodeau is what he is. And I don't like to try to think that Tom Thibodeau is going to change his spots because I think so, right? But it makes sense to me. And let me know what you think. My man Julius led the league in minutes last year. Now, he's in his prime right now. Julius is in his prime. So obviously this is not going to be him for more than like 2 or 3 more seasons before he starts to break down. Everybody does. You can't just keep doing that unless you're LeBron, right? And Julius works hard, so I don't know. But I'm saying, I don't think you should play in 37 minutes a game is what he played last year to lead the league in minutes. I'm thinking you want to give him 32. 32. That way, you have a fresher Julius in the playoffs, and you got a more experienced Obi, right? So now, Obi was getting 11 minutes a game last year. If you bring Julius, say, from 37 down to 32, now you can give them 6 minutes or 5 minutes to Obi. That brings him up to 16 minutes a game. Taj played 22 minutes. Let's say you cut that down to 16, 15. That's another 7 minutes you can put toward Obi Toppin. Okay, so now you can get him up into 20-minute range. Now, as far as Knox, I'm just trying to figure, okay, so you had 26 minutes for Jericho Sims. Now, Jericho, and I want you to understand, don't get carried away with Jericho. I'm not saying he's not good. He's going to be good. He is. He's going to be a perfect backup to Mitchell Robinson in 2 seasons. Why do I say that? Y'all got to be ridiculously fooling yourself if you think that they signed Nerlens Noel to $30 million, that he re-signed Tom Gibson for 3 years, 3rd-year team option, in order to sit those 2 guys behind Jericho Sims. You rarely, and Jericho Sims being the rookie, you either you are somehow thinking that Jericho Sims is the second coming of Shaq, or you just don't know what's going on here. He's not going to get time, but you want the kid to get the reps, so you put him in the G League. You're going to be in the G League. Okay, and he's going to get the reps. He's going to get 30 minutes a game. And if it so happens that Mitch and Mitch and Nerlens or any 2 of those 3 get hurt again, you could bring him up for 50 games. But perfection is play Mitchell Robinson first, Nerlens Noel second, Taj Gibson third, and then if you got injuries, you bring Jericho and you hope you never have to. That's the thing. And you let Jericho get those reps in the G League 30 minutes a game. Okay, that's what he's going to get, and he's going to get good. He's going to have good training. He's going to have good staff with him. So now in 2 seasons, watch, next summer, he'll play Summer League one more time. He'll dominate. Then all of a sudden, the following year, he's ready to get those backup minutes. So that 26 minutes that you saw with Sims, that's not going to be there. So now you're going to have Mitchell Robinson sharing time with Nerlens Noel at the 5. And then you got Taj as a backup. The minutes to me that Taj was getting, I could see Kevin vying for those minutes. Alec Burks got 23 minutes last night. I don't know. Maybe he gets that again. Alec is still good, so you want to utilize him. He's probably going to still get those minutes. Again, the Derrick Rose two-headed monster with Kemba, unless Kemba gets hurt. I think there's more of a possibility that Kemba gets injured than Derrick. I mean, since he's come to the Knicks the last time in 2018, I think it was, he hasn't had any knee issues. And he's been very careful. Of course, he takes care of himself and he works very hard. Kemba has a really degenerative knee issue. Now, with Derrick Rose has had reconstructive surgery, but he hasn't had any flare-ups in the last 3 years. So, okay. So, and he's coming off the bench now. So if there's a possibility of somebody missing time, it'd probably be Kemba. And then you're going to have Deuce there. So I'm trying to figure, where do we get minutes for Kev? You're going to have to keep him there because, and this is his 4th season. So go on to the G League, maybe, but I don't think so. Not in his 4th year, the contract year. They need to sign Kev to a 3-year deal, very modest, with 2 years guaranteed and a 3rd-year option, just like the other guys. And then let's see him, over the next 2 years, earn more time by beating out Taj for more minutes, maybe snatching some of Burks' minutes, stuff like that. But it's going to be hard. So I want to keep Kev. I want to re-sign him to a smaller deal. And, let's see what we could do from there. Also, Fournier, the thing about Fournier really is that Fournier is a 25-minute-a-game player. He's not an 82-game guy either. He's not. So you're going to get opportunity there. And I think that's where Quickly's getting his opportunity behind Fournier. And Quickly did, to me, what you saw from Quick in terms of what positions he played, this what happened. He came in, he played the 2 guard, and then the minutes between Kemba and D Rose, so they had like 40 minutes between that extra 8 minutes. You saw IQ playing the point as well. Okay, so you're going to see him doing that between. So you got him coming behind Fournier, and you got him coming playing little point guard minutes. Also, Burke, as you notice, he set up the offense a couple of times when he was on the floor. So I like the way they have that going. But I guess what I'm trying to do is find minutes for Kev, and I'm trying to figure where we're going to get it, because between Obi's going to have to get some minutes this year. He's just got to. So we're going to get him out. And I just told you how we can get him 20 minutes. You bring down a little bit, of Julius's minutes. I mean, I'm not talking ridiculous. Bring him down to like 32 minutes. It's a 48-minute game. You could give that 16 minutes to Obi, and then you do that. And then you slice into Taj's minutes a little bit. You can get Obi up to 20. I'm just not sure where Kevin's going to get his minutes from. That's my problem right now. And so you got at the center position, the 48 minutes was split evenly, 22 for Taj Gibson and 26 for Jericho Sims. And I can see 20 and 20. I can see them doing Mitchell Robinson and Nerlens, the 20-20 thing that they're doing at the point guard. So maybe Kevin gets, that 8 minutes. Maybe he gets that 8 minutes right there. I'm just trying to figure out where else we're going to get him minutes. Also, Quentin. Quentin got 2 minutes. McBride got 3 minutes. I mean, you see what I mean when I say the team is stacked? People would be suggesting we get this one or that one. I'm almost wondering where they're going to play. Because you see, we're trying to squeeze minutes out right here. Basically, Tom played, as far as real minutes, he did a 10-man rotation Saturday night. And that's about the extent of it. It's going to be when you get to the playoffs, 8-9-man rotation. So, but anyway, I want to keep Kev. Kev I feel he's going to be fine. He's now developing under the Tom Thibodeau system. He's going to be okay. I mean, to come out off the bench 20 minutes, score 12 points, get 6 boards, also got an assist, only committed 2 fouls. He played, he got beat early when he got on the court at first. Kuzma beat him a couple of times. By the way, Kuzma looks like he's 6'10". I mean, he came in the league. I thought he was like 6'8". This boy, like, he was taller than Kev. He's big, man. Anyway, he took Kev to the hole a couple of times. But then after that, Kev solidified his defense, and he was there. And so, he played good defense Saturday night as well. I don't want to trade him. I don't want to trade him. I want to keep him, and I think he wants to stay. I don't think Kevin's looking to go to another team and start, even though I think, like I said, there were at least 8 teams. There were at least 8 teams where Kevin would be in the rotation right now. He'd be in Toronto's rotation. He'd be in Chicago, Cleveland, Detroit, Indiana, even the Bucks rotation. He played behind Pat Connaughton. He could do that, or he could play small forward and split time with Pat Connaughton, and then they still got Portis at the power forward or at the 5 coming in. He would get in that rotation. He would not get in the Hawks rotation. He would get in Charlotte's. He would not get in Miami's. He would get in Orlando's rotation. As you saw against Washington, he would get in Washington's rotation. He would probably be in the rotation. He would definitely be in Houston's rotation, definitely in New Orleans' rotation, definitely in Sacramento's rotation, and definitely in Minnesota's rotation. I'm talking about in the 8, 9, 10-man rotation. Okay? And in the case of Sacramento and Minnesota, he might be able to start. So, he could go somewhere else if he wanted more minutes. But if he wants to stay in New York, I would rather keep him in New York, and I think he probably does want to stay in New York. So, they both, Kevin and Obi, they under the lights of the New York media and the haters, they did their thing. I like how they did it. They focused. Obi was 5 of 9 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3, 1 of 2 from the line. He had 8 boards, and he had 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 blocks. He had 3 turnovers, but that's nervous. I'm starting the first time, and I want to impress nervous. And plus, the guys in the first unit got to get used to me nervous. That's what it was. Okay. But I mean, Obi looked really good. And so if we could, I'm really think it's important that 2 things out of this video I want y'all to get. I want to keep Kevin, sign him for a 3-year deal, where we get a team option or even a player option. I say a player option on a 3rd deal because I think he's going to end up being really good. Okay. So especially now, given that 2 more seasons, obviously we got to find minutes for Obi Toppin. We got to find minutes for him. And I just told you. So we reduce Julius minutes a little bit, and, you reduce Taj's minutes a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. You reduce Julius minutes by 6. You reduce Taj's minutes, let's say by 5, and you give that time to Obi, who was already getting 11. So you can get 20 minutes a game. To me, you need Obi to know when he comes every game that he's going to be at a position where he's getting 20 minutes. He's not going to play 2 minutes one game and 11 the next. That's what was going on last year. He's got to know when he's coming in. An NBA player especially likes to know what his role is. They may not like the role, but at least they know what the role is. So if you know you're coming in, you know that every game, no matter what, your time to come off the bench is this time, and you're going to get 20 minutes, that helps you settle in and you become more effective. And that's going to happen with Obi if he does that. That's what happened with IQ last year. He got in the flow where he knew he was coming off the bench a certain time, and he got in that flow off that rhythm like that. Let's see. And the same with D Rose. They had their role, right? Even Alfred Payton. He knew he was going to start. Regardless, he knew he was going to start. Okay. So I'd like to see Obi know he's getting 20 minutes a game. If he gets 20 minutes a game, you're going to see a couple of games where he catches fire and blows it up. It's you give him that kind of time. He's got the talent. Couple of games. I'm not saying he's going to consistently do it, but you're going to see a couple of games where all of a sudden he can't miss, or he's slashing and flushing it on people and the Knicks are rolling. You want that. And then in 2 years, I don't know what we're going to do. I really don't, because Obi really is a starter. I know people saying play Julius at the 3 or play Obi at the 3. Neither of those guys can guard 3s. Let's be real. They cannot guard 3s. Neither of them can cover enough ground quick enough to guard a 3. Okay. They just, no. Okay. They're both 4s or small ball 5s. Okay. Now, if you want to play small ball 5 with one of them and run the other one at the 4, we have to see how that works out. Tom indicated that that's not something that they liked. He indicated that it wasn't very effective last year, but then again, that was last year. Obi's a better player this year. Let's see. I don't know. Yeah. And that was Obi's issue coming out of college defensively. His being able to turn his hips, defensively against quicker players. and stay in front of him. That was the issue he had, and he still kind of has that issue. It doesn't show up as much when he's guarding 4s and 5s. It doesn't show up as much. But against a smaller, quicker guy, you can see it. It gets exploited very quickly. And Julius, Julius is a better defender than Obi, and Julius can guard 4s and 5s, and sometimes he can guard 3s, but I wouldn't want to depend on that. Okay, I wouldn't want to depend on that. So I don't think he's going to do that. And then what are you going to do? Put RJ at the 2, and then what? You're going to take Evan Fournier, you're paying him $78 million to come off the bench? No, it's not going to happen, yo. No, not going to happen. So I don't know what we're going to do. But this year, I'm going to take this 1 year at a time. And this year, let's play Obi Toppin 20 minutes. He's going to be dynamite coming off the bench for 20 minutes. Him, D Rose, coming off the bench with Burks and Quickly. Man, dynamite. And then you got, you probably have Nerlens Noel coming off the bench with them. And to me, if you could give that whole crew, like, look at this here. Kevin played 20. Rose played 19. Burks played 23. Quickly played 20. And Sims played 26. Now, I don't think they would give Nerlens Noel 26 on a regular season basis. So basically what I'm saying is you could put Obi in Sims' spot and you could keep running. I mean, not Sims' spot, in Kevin Knox's spot, and you can keep running a whole second unit for 20 minutes. That will really preserve the first unit. But I don't think Tom's going to do that. He like to either put Barrett. Usually it's either Barrett or Randall with the second unit. That's generally what he does. He'll have 4 second unit guys come in. D Rose, it'll be Quickly, D Rose, Burks, right? And then he's going to pick somebody. And then he'll have either Randall or RJ run with that second unit. That's basically what he does. But I'm just saying, I just want to see our boy get 20 minutes. And I want them to keep Kevin Knox, continue to develop him. When 2 years goes by, guess what? He's 24 years old. He's still 2 or 3 seasons from his prime. Okay? And I'm telling you, he's going to be good too. I don't know if he's going to be all-star good. Like, I think Obi's got all-star abilities, but I don't want to sleep on Kevin Knox. I don't want to sleep on him. I mean, we drafted Kevin. We drafted him, right? So I'd rather have Kevin than a draft pick. Put it that way. I'd rather have Kevin than a draft pick. So that's my thought. Let me know what y'all think, but that's what I'm thinking. So keep Kevin, sign him, after this year to another a smaller deal. He's not going to get number 1 pick lottery money, but he should get a reasonable deal. 3 years, 12 million or something like that. Something that's very reasonable. And then he can have a player option in 3 years. So if he's really just busting it out and he wants to go to another team or he wants to start on the Knicks or whatever in 3 years, we're talking about 3 seasons, maybe he's ready to do that. But we have to see. But I think Saturday night with all the pressure on them, they responded excellently. Even though it was a preseason game, there was a lot of pressure on them 2 boys. They did very well. So, Obi got to get 20 minutes, and we got to keep Kevin. That's the 2 things coming out of this video. Obi got to get 20, and we got to keep Kevin. And if we do that, we keep rolling. We here, we deep. Shalom.